Hello, good evening, good afternoon, and good morning, wherever you may be around the world. You're welcome to the platform of Dr. Sunday Adelaja, and I am your host on the program Dear Dr. Sunday, or Dear DSA, as you may want to call it. And my name is BAMISHAE Victor. A lot of you are familiar with me already, you know me. And for those of you who are new to this platform and don't know me yet, well, you just got my name there, BAMISHAE Victor. So it's really a honor, it's a privilege to have you guys around this week. And I would like you to say your greetings as you come in so we can know that you are here. You know, it's always a pleasure having you guys around. Today promises to be another interesting episode. I can see Ruth Mufanda, thank you so much for joining. I can see Blessing Ewe Raphael. I can see Aresho Konlalekan, Bumigbenro, Francisca Mugwao, Sally Adai, Delphia Rina. Yeah, so you guys, you're all welcome. Please do well to share and invite your friends, and do well to spread this message, do well to spread this platform in any way you can and to every platform that you can. It's going to be a very interesting conversation today. We have a very, very, very interesting piece that we are going to discuss. And I want you to also let us know that you're here, and I want you to freely share your thoughts on today's episode. All right, so before we go further, I would like to hear from our guest. He is my guest, so I own the program. He is my guest. So my one and only guest, Dr. Sunday Adelaja. So let's hear from him. Let's hear a word of greeting from him.
Yes, how are you guys? How are you all our viewers today? It's my joy to connect with you again. And after all the events and occasions we had with the anniversary, the HMT, we've been lost, right? But I think we came up with a bang. We came up with a bang this week, especially with the video, with the topic that we're addressing. So I'm sure most people are aware now that we're back. But this is the first one we are doing of LODSA after the anniversary break. And welcome. So I said we came up with a bang.
Yeah.
You want us to measure a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I'm sure most of you are already seeing the ripples across the pages of internet.
But I've not seen anything.
Oh, you haven't seen? Oh,
we are the people showing it. What are you saying?
Most of the blogs in Nigeria are already reporting it. Yeah, and a lot of people who actually before now would not even believe what you were saying. Many of them are beginning to reason that if this man can take this thing, if this thing could be taken to this extreme, then a lot of them are now beginning to doubt. There's so many things they've even held before, and they are beginning to question now. Yeah, so a lot of Nigerian blogs are fielding that, and yeah.
So maybe you will send me some, because I don't even have those.
Yeah, I'll send you some links.
I don't have those. Yeah, not now. Maybe.
Yeah, definitely, probably, definitely not.
Yeah,
now.
but what is their own view about it? Are they saying that I'm persecuting the man of God?
No.
I'm attacking as usual.
There was, in fact, a particular blog that we sampled the opinion. I was looking at it with a friend, and maybe out of close to about 40 comments that were already there, only 2
were negative.
Only not negative, but at least still paying loyalty to their man. But for the most part, the other people who commented were either beginning to rethink what they've believed, or people who were previously convinced that were like, all these guys.
No, I'm not even talking about comments. I'm talking about those blogs. What are their positions?
Yeah, the blogs don't have position. They only take the sensationalism and put it out there. So the statement the man made is that if you don't pay tithe, I'm talking about Pastor Adeboye now, if you don't pay tithe, you are not going to heaven. You won't make heaven if you don't pay tithe. So that's sensational enough, and it's spreading like fire. But the beautiful thing is that this is on record. He said it with his mouth. So that's what is provoking those reactions from the people. Yeah, but the blogs will just report the sensation as it is.
And so, what would be your so are you concluding that the thing is assimilating to the society itself? Is it getting around, or is just a few voices, a few people hearing about it right now?
I know. What I would say about now is that definitely more people are aware, as opposed to or in comparison with when we started. Okay. So many more people are aware now. Many more people are beginning to question, which is the essence of the whole thing, to be able to question and make conclusions for yourself, but within reasonable confines. Yeah. So a lot of people are beginning to ask questions, and a lot of people are beginning to actually see that the things that many of these men are talking about has no scriptural basis. They were just mere conjectures that have been passed with a lot of sentiment and emotions. And so there's no scriptural basis for many of the things that have been said, and none of them have been able to prove it scripturally. You know,
but the what I wanted to know is not even the facts as such. I just want to know your assessment of the ambience.
Yeah, in my own opinion, it's reaching more. It's reaching far and wide. It's getting to more people. And what I'm in particularly even saying is that most of the people who before would, as a result of one sentiment or the other, not hear you.
Not even listen.
Not even listen. Now, when they when they see a video of the man linking that even to the very essence of their salvation, now they are ready to listen.
Because it's connected to something that is very precious to any believer.
Yeah. To their salvation. So now they are ready to listen. Now they're asking questions. So, and the more people ask questions, it's like a trickle effect. So bandwagon. Many more people will be getting it. So a lot from the opinion I've sampled, from what I've seen, I think a lot more people are getting it as compared to, in fact, even this time last year.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Just from this week alone?
Yeah, just this week alone.
It's going around so fast.
Yeah, very fast.
Okay, what that is what is going on with what people are saying. But what will you say after today, or after this week so far, from your own personal observation and things?
From my own personal observation,
how effective have this week been?
Yeah,
is it a good thing that I decided to do?
In my very honest and very clear opinion, sir, I think this week is so effective. I think what you've done this week is very, very effective. And the effectiveness comes from, number one, the fact that this is someone who many people have even deified.
Yes.
They've idolized.
Yes.
So his words ordinarily passes, his preferences ordinarily passes as divine.
The will of God.
The will of God.
Or the thoughts of God.
The thought of God. So even his mistakes will go as a real divine arrangement. So that's how people have seen him. So who dares question him? This is a man, even when they are talking about, a lot of people still question the wealth of Oyedepo, the wealth of these other preachers. I've hardly heard one person question his wealth.
Of Adeboye.
Of Adeboye. Nobody talks about his wealth. Nobody talks about the financial part of what he's doing. He was just giving that space, that
benefit.
And the way it goes with the simplicity, the holistic, holiness, cloud, and so people don't get to question the substance of what he's saying. But what the video that you showed this week has done is to demystify that even at his best, he is yet a man. That even at his best, he also can make mistakes with his preachings, with his expostulations, with the things, with his message. And the mere fact that you can show that this is what he said, and people can see,
not my own quotation.
and it's not your quotation. And this now goes not just to just anything, but to the main reason why many people are Christians. Salvation.
The essence of
the very essence, the very center of why a lot of people are Christians. So, and people can clearly see that this is wrong. It now gives them the ability to question so many other things. So, I think that ability to actually question without much more sentiment, as it used to be, is the biggest result that this week has gotten for us. And if it will happen with that one man, sir, who we've put at that top, trust me, it's going to trickle down.
Now, I called the person who sent me the video to say thank you, and to, before I showed it, I called him to tell him this is what I want to do, and just to give him, to appreciate him, yeah. And then after I showed the first 2 days, I also called him. So he came back to me and said, I've had this thing for over 10 years, this video, and I have watched it like maybe 5-7 times, numerous times. But he said what really blessed him personally is that he didn't even know that out of that video one could bring out all those points, and that is what himself, even though he has seen it, but the way it's cut and the way we have done the analysis, to him, he says, it's like I've never seen it before. Even though I know it's the thing I gave you, and I've seen it. So what is the effect of people seeing it with those comments? Because some people have seen, a lot of those videos, even that I show, people see them. Yeah. For some reasons, they are not able to see the things that are wrong. So even this person who knows that it's wrong for sure, but is not able to go see all the details that we are bringing up. For example, he said that old cassette, for example, would have just been one program for him, maybe even less than 2 hours. And they would have just give a general thing that this is wrong, and all that. But that what he has seen so far, what he's seeing, the way this thing is being broken down into so much details, that that is the greatest blessing according to his own understanding. So what will you say to that? And then what will you be your own? Because you saw the thing also before, you even cut it for me.
Yeah, so for me, I'll go back to when you started showing video and why you did. I remember then you said, I want to say these things, I want to show these things. But if I'm just saying them, people will think that I'm just saying them for saying their sake. But I want to be detailed. You said that you are very detailed, and you would like to show it that it is not me, it's not about me. You wanted to be able to separate yourself from, it's not a vendetta, you are not pursuing an agenda, you just want to show that what is being said is wrong. So, and in doing that, you wanted to show videos of the people themselves saying it with their own mouth. Oh, it's not, you didn't preach it for
their
them.
Own recording.
Their own recording. So for you now, your intention now mixed with your personality of being detailed, which is one, and your ability to be analytical. To be analytical. You have taught me, for example, the 80% of life is in details.
Yes.
So you pay attention to 98%. Yeah, so 98% of life is in details. So you were able to pay attention to every word that is being said. Why is it being said? So, and you also probably being a journalist, you're able to also read body languages and the other things that are used in communicating those things. Then you being a pastor or a preacher yourself and a Bible student, you know what is the basis of the truth to that extent. And not just being a preacher like just any other preacher, but one who has decided to enforce the will of God in this generation. You have decided that if it's in your own generation that things will be right, you are going to give your life for it. Yes. So all of these things put together makes you see what the ordinary person will not see. I bet even if I was the one looking at the video, I caught it.
Yes.
And yes, I saw.
You caught all the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah. I saw the thing. I saw many of the things you said, but I didn't see a lot that you talked about. I mean, in the details.
Like the man was saying.
Like the man was saying, yeah. So all of these factors put together, I think, gives you that edge. But the most important thing is that you've helped a lot of people do the process of thinking. And now you are presenting it to them as a gift. So otherwise, thinking is very difficult for a lot of us. Myself inclusive.
Especially detailed thinking.
Yeah. So what you've done is you've done that for us now. So you are now giving it to us. Anyone who will now not understand it now, we will ask him to first of all engage repetition. After engage repetition, then we ask him to come back. Before then, probably will know what to do with the person. But it should be clear from the first hearing with what you've done.
If what you are saying that most people don't think or cannot analyze in details, if that is true, what you are saying now, it means that even what is now going on that you are saying is going viral,
yeah, that was
is also not going to be as effective. Because what is going viral normally is without my comments. It's just the man's word. And everybody will come to their own conclusion according to the depth that each person has. So, and many people might not have that depth of detail that you are talking about. But even those, they will see the fact. But it might not go, it could go to, any information goes into you by the depending on your own level of understanding. Okay, it might go 2%, it might go 5%, it might go 10%, it might go 20%, it might go 25%. But there are some people who are able to absorb the totality and see it from different angle. This one. That's the way I see information normally. But that I would like to hear.
Yeah, so that's why. Initially, I said it was sensational.
Sensational.
Yes, I mentioned sensational. But the beauty of the sensationalism is that it at least unlocks.
Okay, some mystery.
Yes, some mystery. It removes at least the first layer, the first coating. And that this sensationalism disseminates faster, but not with the depth.
Okay.
But it moves very fast. Did you hear what this person said? Did you hear what this? So it moves very fast.
Yes.
So with that way, it covers fast. So it will now take more people, maybe not as many, not as much as those who heard it, but more people than normally if the sensationalism had not gone, to now want to dig for fact. So it means with the sensationalism, the sensationalism now functions as an invitation to try to find out the depth of what has been said. So it will lead many more people to the truth of what
the viral effect.
Yes. So many more people than before now will now get to watch your videos. And especially if there are people who have also been hearing of you before, but we're still sitting on the fence, or we're thinking you were the problem.
Yes.
So it opens their mind to listen more. So, and the good thing is that once you treat a subject, you treat them in a way that you don't want to come back to it again.
Yeah.
So it's always there in the archive. So like I hear a lot of people always saying, I went back to watch your series on this, I went back to watch your series on that. So they're always there for people to get back to and watch again. So, but the beauty of it is that it's going far, and many more people will be coming to the full understanding of what you are talking about. Maybe not this month, maybe not next month, but little by little.
Now, but the problem even also with those people who are saying the sensationalism of it is that they think that is the only one thing I did. That is the only one series, one time. They don't know that every day we are doing it for at least a week. And every day there are some sensational things.
Yeah.
When you go to the detail though.
Yeah.
That but then that will now take inquisitive minds.
Yes. But little by little, many more people will be getting more inquisitive.
But what would that do to African Christianity, Nigerian Christianity? What do you think it will? Okay, it will go around. So what?
Yeah. So what
would that do to the church?
For me, in my own opinion, what it will do to the church is that a lot of people who are deified this man will now begin to ask.
Is it just about the man or pastors in general?
Why I make it about the man is because he's like the one on top. He's like the model. It's like the model. So if you are talking about Christianity in Africa or in Nigeria, before you mention one or two individuals, you mention this man. So if people can see that his theology from the base may not be right, then they'll begin to question even more things that he says, which has helped people bond to syncretism and every other form of manipulation. So, yes, it's about other pastors too, but many of these pastors too are modeling their ministries in accordance to what this man is doing and how he is running. So, if people can see that this guy is actually attaching everything to money, including salvation, not even, before they were doing health, wealth, and other good things, but this one is even salvation, that they won't make heaven, then many more people will begin to question, and I think that will revolutionize the face of Christianity in Nigeria, because it's all about asking questions, actually.
Well, I look at it differently.
Yes, sir.
Maybe what you are trying to say is the same as I'm thinking, but in my own thoughts, I think the whole concept of deifying men of God is what should crumble.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, the idolization of individuals,
yes, sir,
must crumble. Number three, the concept of father, pastor, geo, bishop, which now stands between man and God, needs to come down.
yes, sir.
Number four, the doctrine of making Christians to think that they are worse off than they are men of God needs to come down. Next point, I've lost the point. Next point, everybody must know that we are equally redeemed, and in this kingdom, it is only the priesthood of all believers that matters, and that also has to be, has to come. But the most important goal, after all, for me, is that people will get to a place whereby they develop personal relationship with God. So, because once you are disillusioned in deifying a man, then you could get to a place where now you are ready to remove the image, the idol that is standing before you and God, between you and God, and then begin to build your own personal relationship with God. So those are things that I am targeting. I'm not really concerned about tithe or something so much. I'm more concerned about people taking the place of God. And syncretism is another thing. So a lot of syncretistic practice that have taken over the church, and paganism that people are not even seeing, are the things that I think are the main targets of what God wants to do at this hour.
Yes, that's true.
You want to read people's comments?
Yeah. Should we read people's comment now? We should go straight to letter.
No, of course we have to do a.
Okay, let's read people's comment, then we'll go straight to the letter.
Yeah.
All right. So we have Idara saying, I think the propagation is getting a lot better and raising a lot more awareness than before. Yes. And Paul Oriade is saying very correct. The same with Bisola, very true. Gift Blessinemo is saying, the first time in the history a man of God stands to speak against wrong interpretation of gospel. So Joy is saying we need to pray for him.
Yeah,
that's Christian. Yeah. And Blessing says, I can't pray for him. My spirit will not allow me for now. Say Pastor Adebo is an evil man full of deception. Well, I think we
yeah,
still
but even
think,
unbelievers still need to be
Yeah.
praying for salvation, for them
Yes.
to be saved.
yes, we still think you should pray for him. Do your best to pray for him. Every one of us needs prayer to stand. We all need prayers. And our Frank is saying good evening. Okay, blessing saying this moment can help people to start believing in God's word that said, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and lowly in heart. You will find rest. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." God never meant death for his children. Yes. Okay. So Rebecca is saying it's called being desensitized, when people are being seen and hearing what is wrong. And what is wrong is presented as right for a long time. They are no longer alarmed, but it passes by them as usual, normal and casual. That's a very big point right there. When wrong things are being taught as right, people get desensitized. Yes. All right. So I guess we'll leave the comment here for now. We'll come back to them later. So I want us to go straight into one of the letters we received, and this is a very interesting one.
That is now going to the full program
Yeah,
of today.
Dear
Yes,
Dr. Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
So we are going into the program. We spent some time analyzing the events of the week.
We have 1 hour.
Okay, yes we do, but I think we'll do justice to the letter now. All right, so guys, you're welcome again. We are going to go into the letter now, proper. And Dr. Sunday gets a lot of letters, a whole lot of letters. And many of them are very interesting. They are inspiring, they are uplifting. Many of them will challenge you to do even more, to be better. Many of them will tell you that your story or what your situation is now is not as bad as you think, and your life can even be better. And so that's why Dr. Sunday decided that we should share some of these letters with you and inspire you and show you that yes, there's a whole lot of life that is ahead of you. There's a whole lot more that you can achieve. That your life was meant to be more than just playing religion, playing church, or living just like a biomass. So I will be going into one of the letters today. Dr. Sunday, are you ready, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I have a letter from a very interesting person here. Yeah. I think this is feminine. So she's a lady. And I would like to start with the letter. We'll start with the first paragraph.
Yes, sir.
So I'll read the paragraph and we'll try to discuss it. Yeah. All right, guys. So let's get started. Yeah, dear Dr. Sunday, writing you again today gives me joy. I want to appreciate you for all you have done and are already doing. Your teachings have brought me more closer to Christ and shown me the truth about life. It's not only me that is getting the transformation, but my husband too. Your teachings awakened our conscience and transformed our religious mindset to kingdom mindset, and also helped me to know my real self. You get this a lot.
Yes, but I like to put meaning into words.
Yeah.
So words to me don't just appear as words. They have to have a meaning.
Yeah.
And so people who are hearing what you just read, are thinking that you are just that this is just normal letter that you have gotten, I have gotten. People who are just grateful, and everybody is thinking I could write the same thing, but they might not be saying the details of what that person is envisaging in his own heart and mind. So, for example, this person says here, I want to appreciate you for all you have done and already doing. For example, what is the picture? Because for me, I teach people that until words or letters get to the level of picture, that you have not really captured the message of the letter. So when a man says that, I appreciate for what you have already done and you are doing, what is this person most likely having in his mind, thinking? What are the pictures? that the images that are in his mind. What will you say?
Well, this is still the beginning of the letter, so I would be more patient to
No. If you are going to get to the body of the letter to now connect.
No, not the body. Probably go. I will have to. This first paragraph.
That is the way to get details. Otherwise, you are going to be spending a lot of resources to get some content. But the smaller I have a saying that always says, anybody that is able to talk and to talk anybody that is able to put his thought,
5 words,
in a sentence. In a sentence, deserves our attention. So anybody, you only give attention to sentences. Somebody who is able to put his thought in a sentence is the only one that deserves your attention. So that's why, and I see that you do that too. But when I talk in phrases or sentences, short but loaded. So sentence, only somebody who is able to put his thought in a sentence deserves your attention. Most people can't. Most people, they pour a lot of words out to just say the same thing somebody has said in one sentence. They don't deserve your attention. The person who is able to put his thought not in many, many words and many, many speech, long, but in one sentence, in one word, is the person you want to aspire to be like. So you must be able to, what that is also telling us is that every one of us must be able to get content from a word. If you are not as good, at least from a sentence.
Okay. So let me try. So
now you see why I say you shouldn't read the whole.
Yeah. From the first line, I see relationship. I see a relationship that has gone on before the writing of this letter, and the writing of this letter is just a subsequent one because the person is saying writing you again. So it shows that it's written and you've replied, and it's writing again. I don't know for how long that has gone on, but that again shows that you can write Pastor Sunday and he always replies, even to the tiniest, which is Facebook Messenger. He replies his message. So this person is saying writing you again today gives me joy. So I see.
But if we have not asked this question, you don't even have gotten to this point.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
And so, some people are now getting a lesson or two as a result.
Yeah. So DSA always replies his message, his email, no matter what. And a lot of people, some people write me and say, Victor, I want you to do this. Are you near DSA? I say, writing. He's going to reply. So then I say, are you serious? He's going to reply? I say, yeah, he's going to reply. Some even when they are calling me, I say, and I wanted to tell DSA, I wanted to write DSA this thing, but I didn't. Just write him, he's going to reply. I say, you don't mean it. I say, no, GOs in Nigeria, they don't reply. You see, that's why I came through you. So me, I'm going to be a mystery since I am going to see you. So it's better they reach out to me than reaching out to you. But they are very well shocked when I tell them that DSA does reply his messages. He doesn't use a telephone, but he replies his messages. So find him on Messenger, add him on Facebook, write him on Facebook, write him on his email, depending on what you want. Listen through the conversations, listen through the programs. He's always telling you, he's always mentioning the channels through which to write him, depending on the subject matter. Yeah, so from here I see writing you again today gives me joy. It shows the person is very happy to be writing you again, which shows correspondence. So you are not just a person who sees the letter and not respond. You read it and you respond. And a lot of people, in fact, they say, he wrote me after immediately. Some say he wrote me after 2 hours, which is not consistent with the nature of people of your caliber. I mean, I too get to write people, I then never get any reply. So I know exactly what that means. And yeah, so the next line is saying, I want to appreciate you for all you have done and are already doing. So I also see that within this correspondence, there has been some benefits that has been added to this person as a result of the relationship. And the person is writing first to appreciate you for that. So it shows, and not just that it shows, I am also a witness to that, that from the first contact, you are already a blessing to those who know you. I remember when, that should be a year ago, more than a year and a half ago or so, I was in Lviv then, and one of the guys came to Kiev. Maybe you remember or not. He came to Kiev and he was in KFC. And and you just came into KFC and you walked up to him straight, and he was the only black guy in the KFC.
But I never saw him before.
Yeah, you didn't know him, you just walked up to him, you gave him a hug and you engaged him in a conversation. So by the time he realized this was Sunday, he was like, you know, something like he didn't believe it. So, I mean, by the time you look up and the person who is right in front of you,
who is greeting you,
hugging you,
and he was not even coming to greet you.
Yeah, it's Pastor Sunday. He didn't probably even didn't see you at first.
No, he saw a black person.
Yeah, but he didn't take note. So by the time the hug and the call, this Pastor Sunday, So he was just so shocked.
He was lost.
So immediately you left, he took his phone and called me.
Say what?
That you can't believe it. I just saw Pastor Sunday. He hugged me. He was he said the man just in his words. I probably I'll be paraphrasing. He said the man just showed me literally what love is.
I know you are not saying.
Yeah, that's what he said.
No, it's not possible.
But
I didn't really talk to him much.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said that a man just exemplified to me exactly what love is. Say, I mean, to touch, to hold, and to pay attention. I think, I don't know how long you engaged him for, but he called me. And so even when he got back to Lviv, we spoke about it. So,
exemplified love.
Yeah.
Just by seeing you, passing by you in McDonald's.
Yes. That you just showed him exactly what love is.
What love is. Yeah. So without even preaching.
You didn't preach then.
Without preaching, without talking, without opening the Bible, the guy understood what love is.
Yes. Because you paid attention to him, you took note of him. To you, it was not just another part of the statistics. And people see you do that.
But he was not used to that. He was seeing me for the first time.
Yeah.
And I was seeing him for the first time. Now what happened was that I just entered. I wanted to use the restroom. I was on my way to court or somewhere. I wanted to use the restroom. So and the nearest place was McDonald's that was there. So I stopped with the McDonald's. One of my drivers, assistants, went to the McDonald's to check that the restroom was free. So he went and came back to call me. So I was with the security and the assistant to leading me into that McDonald's to show me where the restroom, because you not know where it is. So I was going in with all these white guys, to the restroom, and through McDonald's. And in McDonald's were a lot of people in McDonald's, but one single black guy was among them eating. And I just thought he's a student, and he was a student, right?
Yeah, he was.
Okay, I think he was a student, and I thought, oh, that's a black guy in this country, in McDonald's eating. He might not know who I am, but it doesn't matter. He's a human being, and he's in a foreign land, and he's among all these Europeans, and I don't know what he's going through. I don't know his situation. Why is he there? But before I went, we could go to my own toilet. Let me go.
You should go to him first.
Yeah. Before I could go and meet my own needs.
Yeah.
Let me go and...
you were just probably looking at him that he was lonely.
No. I was just thinking that, okay, if this is a young man in a foreign land. I mean, when you enter into a restaurant or a McDonald's and all other people there are white and only one black guy is in the corner, you have two reactions. Either to hide your face and quickly just do that, you don't see him, or me, I know. Because students don't look great here, so at least compared to the way I look, or people I relate to.
Yes.
So, He was not looking exceptional or great or anything. It was just a normal, regular student. So either I will be ashamed that that's a black guy there that is just, because I'm coming in with security, with assistance, with entourage. And so either I will just turn my eye and just go my own way. Or I will let him know that that car that just entered, that just stopped, that person that just came out of that car, with security going in to check the room and the assistants following and people all around him, all white people serving him, that person is like him, but is not putting him down and is not seeing him as inferior. That person wants to honor him before. I went to see him there to honor him before all the Russians and all the people there. I wanted to lift him up above where he is and above his little place. I wanted to make him the hero of that restaurant. I wanted to honor him. I wanted to lift him from the lower with that black student, insignificant student that is just in the corner, intimidated, you know, estranged, and, you know, just put in the corner. Ostracized and just isolated, to a place where of social acceptance and of recognition and of exceptionality. So I just needed to celebrate it, because when I was greeting him, all the security and people with me, they were standing. Yeah. They had to stand to honor him. They had to greet him too. And then I just said, no, don't just greet me and say hi, you know, come and hug me. Yeah. And I hug him. Who are you? Where are you from? He said, oh, he's coming from another town. Oh, so you don't know me? No problem. But I'm just, I live here in Kyiv. I'm a pastor. And I just am going somewhere, and I decided to use the restroom, and I saw you. You know, nice to meet you. You know, come around if you if you are going to find opportunity or something. And I went to my toilet.
And that gesture from you made a huge impact in him, that he could say he had seen a demonstration of real love. So that gets to tell us and every viewer that every little act, they do make difference in the lives of people. And probably if we would just pay a little more attention to the people around us, maybe we would do more uplifting than pulling down. And so for me, from that first line, and the lady was saying,
and it doesn't have to be money.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be money. And say, I thank you, I appreciate you for all you have done. So I can testify.
In this case, this is just giving attention by replying later. Yeah. In that case, just
by paying attention to who is there and giving them time. And God, who knows what could have been going through his mind? Who knows what he came to do in Kyiv? Who knows if he had just experienced disappointment, in depressions of that time. But you just going there to pay him attention lifted his spirit. I mean, he called me. He couldn't hide his excitement.
Amazing.
You know,
I didn't even know he knew you.
Yeah. You see, that's another thing. So that's another thing. So sometimes the people we touch also get to touch other people, and so you can be the one to kickstart a trickle down effect of goodness.
So you can actually preach love without talking.
Yeah.
Without opening the Bible.
Without opening the Bible, you can.
You can preach the gospel without even opening your mouth.
Yes. Because if you have to preach the gospel, the person listening to you has to understand your reference. The person has to understand your reference. And for you to preach the gospel in the conventional way, you will need the Bible. How about someone who doesn't know what the Bible is, and you are saying the Bible says it's just looking at you? But everybody understands love.
The language.
Nobody is immune to love. Not one person is immune to love. Love melts even the most ardent heart. And you've shown this in one of your videos, sir.
Okay. Of
the guy who was a killer and was shown love by the mother of the lady he had killed.
The guy he had killed, yeah.
And he was broken just because someone showed him love. This someone whose heart was ardent. So, just that you pay that attention and you give people recognition and you don't put anybody down. And I was saying sometime that your house here is where anybody can visit. Someone who one would consider a peasant.
Why should that be strange? I don't
know
understand
it's so strange.
What is?
It's so strange. In fact, one of the most people who you will think even are of bigger mindset in Nigeria, the pastors in Nigeria, one of the people we will consider one of the best. I was in his church in Lagos, Nigeria, and I said I wanted to see the man of God. In church service, so you know how you wait.
Not even in his house.
No, not in his house. They told me that even they don't see him. And I even
this is the best.
It's one of the people we will consider, the way the church has sport in Nigeria like this, that guy is one of the people we consider the best.
And even his own staff.
That even they don't see him. Anything I want to tell him, I should tell them.
But they don't see him.
They don't see him.
So how should you tell them? They will not be able to.
They will translate. They will transmit it through the elders of the church or something like that. Then after them, you know.
Then the elders will now translate that what you are trying to say.
Yeah. So the elders will now be the one to probably.
Okay.
Because I didn't get a reply, even though I dropped my message.
You dropped the message?
Yeah, I dropped the message.
No reply?
No, I have not got a reply till today.
You couldn't see the guy. But maybe the guy was not at home. Maybe he was traveling that day.
No, he was in church. And I wasn't going to see him
saw him in church?
I saw him in church. In fact, you know when they called first timers, I was even outside.
And you saw him?
Yeah, I even had a handshake with him.
But he would not receive
But to see him after service, you know, even immediately he finished preaching, he just took his bag, he was gone. To see him here, you are not going to see him. They said even they themselves, they don't see him.
And that's the best we had.
And he's one of the guys I would consider the best. And because even with that act, I still don't judge him, but that's just what we
talk less of house now.
So now, talk less of house, talk less of the so many that are not even as good. That are not half as good, I mean in terms of even his art, as he is.
So now I can reflect your point that you are saying that.
So my point is that even in Ukraine, a peasant, and not even a peasant. Okay, I'll talk about a peasant.
Drug addict.
Anyone can wake up today and say he wants to see you.
Yeah.
You still create time.
Yeah.
In fact, last week I was told of someone who traveled from another country altogether and didn't write you earlier.
Yeah,
he didn't write anything. He was just coming. He just coming to see you.
And I was just in my house.
And they said you had to meet someone.
Yeah.
And you are like, I'm not expecting a visitor.
No even Facebook message.
That's not to say you should do that too. Try to write at least.
Not even Facebook message. No letter. No email.
And he got here.
No, but the person even go to Ukraine. He didn't even
He didn't write anything.
He even go to the house. He didn't write anything.
I was wondering, how did he even get how did he get to the...
I don't know. I didn't even ask him.
And then
he got the address of my house. And he came right into this place.
And then they were telling you have a meeting, you have a visitor, and you're like,
where?
I'm not expecting anybody. But still fun time for him.
2 hours.
Still fun time for 2 hours. So that in the first instance.
And the guy has gone back. And do you think I've received from him again? No. Do you think he has written?
No, I don't think so.
I gave him 3 days, 2 hours every day. And I've not received either I arrived or he arrived or he didn't arrive or thank you or anything.
But hopefully the investment you put in him will work.
I don't know, it's not because of him.
Yeah.
It's not about
now,
time.
I am hoping that the investment that you've put in him will yield fruit.
I've just done what I need to do. I don't care.
You just sow your own seed.
I just need to be.
But this is who you are. This is who you are. And if one would think that probably it is me who is saying it, I think a lot of people should go and listen to people who have been to HMTs and people who have been around you, and they should listen. It is consistent. And this is not something that started now. People who have known you for 16 years say the same thing. Even the Russians. And so one will wonder, I mean, it's easy to see now that it is this same love, this same attention, this same care that you give. It's one of the reasons why you have an explosive growth in ministry in Ukraine. Because love moves, love spreads. People want to be where love is. So, for me, those were the things I got from the first line.
Yeah, go ahead. He has the second line there.
Yeah, the second line now talks about your teachings have brought me closer to Christ and showed me the truth about life. I said it's not only me that is getting.
No, the dropout, you missed a line there. Did you?
No.
I want to appreciate you for all you have done already doing. Okay, you are explaining that.
Yeah, I
okay.
explained that.
So your teachings have brought me more closer to Christ and shown me the truth about life. No, that is easier to dissect. Or don't you think so for you?
Well,
your teachings, I think, we can be able to substantiate.
Yeah, we can substantiate this.
Okay.
And that's exactly how we even started.
Okay.
The substantiating of this, not even knowing that, I mean...
That your teachings have brought... So I'm thinking, what are the teachings that she has listened to? I will not know, but I'm looking at it.
But
I'm seeing the picture.
Just about any teaching. Just about, that's the truth. Just about any teaching. How do I say this?
Yeah, she didn't mention the teachings.
She didn't mention the
teachings have brought
but just about any
closer
teaching.
to Christ and show me the truth.
Just about any teaching. The closest person who one will consider to have walked in the place you are walking, the closest person would be Miles Moreau. The closest, yes. And to also know that Miles Moreau mentions generality, goes deep in some certain things, but the teachings Miles Moreau will teach for one, you will teach about at least 15 episodes on it, on that same topic.
Okay.
So if it's, for example, the kingdom of God, Dr. Miles will preach 1 hour plus message, maximum 2. But you will do 15 episodes, and those 15 episodes are a minimum of 2 hours. So you have built a library of content. Not just, again, the quantity in time, but the quality of the message.
So it will not be repetition?
No.
All those 15 messages?
No. And that's where your detailed nature comes in. So it's not just in the quantity, it's also, and most particularly, in the quality. Because in an atmosphere that we have, for example, if the person is now in Nigeria, especially if the person is in Nigeria, when you now look at the things you've been hearing, when the person now gets a hold of your message, then it's not just like a breath of fresh air, it's like a replacement and a removal of garbage. Some sort of laxative that purges people of the toxic things that they've been fed with. And it's so sad.
So you can actually imagine, picture what she's talking about.
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So, but 3 things. Those teachings are brought her closer to Christ, not to DSA, but to Christ, not to church. Because me, I don't have church.
Yeah.
To Christ.
Christ.
And then, but also brought her to truth and life.
Yeah. Yes.
Why those 3 things? But brought me closer to Christ, showed me the truth about life.
Yeah. First,
3 major things there.
First, when we talk about bringing closer to Christ, you do not stand, you do not do representational, you do not stand as a representational image. You never attempt to stand in between people and God. You never try to be a priest for them. What you do is you teach them, and then they form their conceptualization of God by themselves, using your teachings as a man.
Not being a middleman.
Yeah, you are not being a middleman. You are not acting a middleman. You have experienced God this way. And you are saying, I have experienced God this way. And this is the mind that I've developed from experiencing God this way. This is what I've got. These are my results from experiencing God this way. And this way that I've experienced God is a principle that is workable and is in line with what Scripture is.
And it will work for anyone.
And to work for just anyone. And so you are now laying down and teaching those principles. They are truth, because it doesn't just work for Nigerian, it works for Ukrainians. It doesn't just work for Ukrainians. You can preach them when you go to Japan. You will not just preach it in Japan. If you go to Germany, you will still preach the same thing, and people will get connected to it. And in all of this, you do not still put yourself in the picture. That yes, I am the middleman. And so, when people now get a hold of that, it realigns them back to Christ. Christ becomes the subject and the object.
So those teachings point to Christ.
It points people back to Christ. Because what you teach has always been about relationship
with God.
With God. Even the ones that they brought out to want to use as scandalous against you, the whole essence of what you were talking about was relationship with Christ. The relationship with Christ. And so, for you, your teachings, they align and bring people back to Christ in all of it. Is it syncretism? Is it truth series? Mention it. It's always about the person of Christ. So, I can really understand what this person is talking about here. And so when you talk about the truth about life, you see, yes, and I'm saying this especially this person is an African. Most of the things you will ever hear in Africa, in an African church, a typical African church, is religious garbage that cannot test ground in real life. And that's why you can hardly find an average Nigerian religious Christian competing globally. Because the things that they are being fed have no global relevance.
Or life relevance?
It has no relevance at all. Even local relevance, it has none. So you find out that people are not getting root in life. People are not taking their place in life. So, but when one gets to hear what you preach, which has its roots and precepts in the Word of God and the principles of Christ, then the person is able to see exactly the principles that govern life. And that is the whole matter. That is the whole matter. One of the questions I ask is that what is the measure of spirituality? Is the measure of spirituality the tongues that I speak? Or the things that I do? Is my measure of spirituality the amount of hours I can stand on my knees and close my eyes? Or the transformation that is visible in my character, in the patterns of my behavior, and in the results that I achieve?
To answer you that question, you will discover that the Nigerian Christianity, it will give you the definition of spirituality or the measure of spirituality as being how effective your transactions are with the spirit realm.
Yeah.
So they measure spirituality by the transactions and your gains in that transaction with God or with church, with spiritual realm. Yeah. Instead of the transformation of your person. I don't know if you get what I
Yeah,
mean.
yes, that's exactly what your teaching does, and that's exactly what why I say I can understand this person when he talks about the truth about life. Because we have now entered such a transactional relationship where spirituality is measured, especially in this age, by how much you have in your pocket.
Transaction.
By how much you think that if you can give this to God, God is going to give this to you.
By your gains in that
By your
transaction.
gains in that transaction. But no, the real essence of spirituality is that you can replicate the mind of Christ on earth.
Transformation.
Transformational. And so that's why I know, and I know this without a shadow of doubt, that the measure of spirituality is in psychological impact. The measure of spirituality is in the mental changes that is taking place in a person. The measure of spirituality is in how transformed
The inner man.
man of the person is. How transformed is your soul? That's why the scripture says, let this mind be in you as it was in Christ Jesus. Because when it comes to spirituality,
become like him.
yeah, when it comes to spiritual, the moment you were born again, the spiritual was fixed. But the effect of growth spiritually is in the fact that you can be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And so not much
carry his image and likeness.
yes. But not much emphasis is placed on the transforming of the human mind. So they just feed them with some inconsequential, not substantial religious garbage. And any theology that has no psychological basis is nonsense, is rubbish. That does not improve the mental well-being, the mental state of the person. Because that indeed, sir, is a measure of spirituality. And that's why you see that the fruits of the Spirit, the things that we call the fruit of the Spirit, you will see that all of them conform to behavioral patterns.
So that's why he said that you should renew
Be transformed.
Be transformed
by the renewing of your mind.
So it's transformation that is the goal.
The goal. Because this spirituality has its way where the goal. So at the moment we die and we give our life to Christ, we just slump, die, and go to heaven, because that's the moment spirit in the world, the one spirit, the spirit. That's the moment it became one with God.
So even the renewal of your mind should end in transformation.
Yes, that is exactly
Be
what it is.
transformed by the renewing
of your mind. That is exactly what spiritual growth is. So, and you cannot attain that without truth. You cannot attain that. It is impossible to attain spiritual growth without truth. And truth is not just what John 3:2 or what Job 17 says. No. Truth is bigger than that. So, and I mean to say this again, please permit me to be controversial here on this platform. I said God is omnipotent and God is omniscient. I said, but the Bible is not. Some people were coming for me. But when the Bible already told you that the things that Jesus did, if it were to be written, this book will contain it. How then can't you understand that there are much more? So, the basis of this is that it is truth. It is the acknowledgement, the coming in contact with truth that actually makes a man spiritual. It is the coming to contact with truth that sets you free and gives you the access to the next level. And so, for instance, if I know the truth about time, I've just become spiritual about time. Because never again would I waste this precious resource. What then would that mean? It means I will be like Jesus, who did not waste 1 second of his life.
Maximize life.
Yes. Who did everything, and at 33, he was ready to go. That shows me that I can do everything I need to do ASAP. that demystifies death. If I can know the truth about life, then I'll be chasing how can I live an effective life. And once I can achieve that, it means that I have now the mind of Christ in terms of living an effective life. And this exactly is a proof of my spirituality. But Nigerian churches, sir, they don't know anything about this one. So that's why they have a repetition of the same boring basics. The same boring basics. And you see that Paul was even tired of those boring basics in the book of Hebrews, chapter 6.
He said, don't waste time on those things.
Yeah, he said these are trivial things. And what are they? Repentance, faith. Is that not what the church, that's all they are doing today? Repentance, faith, repentance.
And he said, leave those things.
Since they are childish, because the things that are not. It says, these ones are through the use of truth. Through the use of the word, exercise their mind. So they recognize truth. So, I think listening to your teachings, one will understand exactly
what life is, the truth about life, what life is all about.
Yes, and so exactly what this writer is talking about here.
But she said she became closer to Christ, and those teachings have shown her the truth about life. Does that mean she now started to understand life?
Yes.
How will you have to? Because I don't remember what it is not to understand life. I don't know or remember. I don't know what the other side. I am coming from the side of somebody who has the understanding of life to some extent, and I don't know what she means. That so she didn't know what's these people who don't know, who say they're now understanding life. What were they knowing before? What did they know before? What did they?
So when you hear the stories of people who have lived 60 years, 55, 70 years, people have lived this long, and many of them get to hear your teachings and read your books. And that's why one of the most touching books is how to regain your lost years.
Yes.
That book is so emotional for a lot of people.
Yes.
Then you are now seeing people who have actually lost a whole lot of their years. Then you understand now that these people know what they are talking about. What has actually happened is that all of these years, they've just existed. They were functioning below par.
So when somebody said they were they are now getting to know life now, does that mean that they were living on the level of instinct before?
Yes.
What I call biomasses.
Sir, biologically, there is a level in the brain called cortex.
Yes.
Now, anything below cortex is called hypocortical.
Yes.
Or hypocortical. Everything above it or from the level of cortex is called epicritical or hypercortical. Now, aesthetics, beauty is a form. So aesthetics, ethics, and morals.
Yeah.
Decisions about understanding what life is. Functions on the level of epicriticals.
Yes.
Now, hypocortical is where instinct, like food, thirst, hunger.
No, that is the level that animals have.
Exactly. So it therefore means that anyone who is actually saying, or as of now, who do not understand purpose, not living according to it,
principles,
who do not understand the principles that govern life, who do not understand the aesthetics and the ethics of life,
and who is not actively conscious, who is not living an actively conscious life,
conscious life, is living on the level of hypocortex. That's hypocortical. Now, what that essentially means and this is no insult, I have also been there, is that we are living like animals. Because only animals live on instinct. The degree that man has above animal is the fact that he can live with his epicritical base, with his hypercortical functions. And even more, I wouldn't want to go into this, even more, is a man that now understands this and now receives illumination. So, you know, there are people who actually, they are living on the basis of they've understood life, but are yet to receive illumination. And that's what differentiates someone like you from me. I have understood life, but I have not received the illumination that you have.
The light.
The light. It just shines. And that's why Paul was always praying. So we must be consistent in staying in the place where we can be getting illumination. Even after we've understood aesthetics, ethics, and morals, and trying to live conscientiously. That conscientious living is to stay in the place of being able to receive illumination. And that's what differentiates the sages, the generation of the sages, the Greek generation, from the ones that we have now. After Albert Einstein, who was the next big...
That was before that, Darwin, before him.
Yeah, before him. After him, who is the next big thinker? How
Maybe
many
the one
people
that
have in
just
that
died,
life?
Stephen
Hawkins.
that just died. Maybe the one that is on.
Yeah. Just maybe.
Yeah, but
So,
not on that level.
but you know the way it was in those
still,
days.
yeah. Because people are not living consciously anymore.
Yeah.
No active consciousness.
Yeah.
People are living, like you said, like biomasses. We are being reduced to automotive lifestyle.
So when probably I'm thinking that this author
Yes.
got in contact with some of you. Well, of course, he has mentioned your teachings,
Yeah.
and now he's beginning to see life differently.
Okay.
From the biomass concept that an ordinary person would just have.
To confirm what you are saying, she's actually saying not only me, but also my husband is going through the transformation. She actually mentioned transformation. So they are no more living on the transactional relationship with God, but they have now come to the level of transformation. And then she goes ahead to say, your teachings awakened our conscience. So the consciousness
That I spoke about there.
yeah, that is life. So that consciousness is what returned them to life. So they are awoken to consciousness, transformed, and they say the teachings have transformed our religious mindset. What you described without the reading it, you see. So your analysis has brought you to even explaining the things.
Yeah, because we've never analyzed this point
without even getting there, and that's what I mean. The ability to derive gem from one word of one sentence, rather than that is what determines the depth of a man, and that's what you have just demonstrated right now. That the things you have said, she's just writing it them because you are so detailed and analytical. So she's now saying your teachings awaken our conscience, transformed our religious mindset to kingdom mindset, and also helped me to know my real self. So knowing her real self, apart from knowing Christ, knowing life, so there are three things. The teachings brought her to the knowledge of Christ, to the knowledge of life
and herself.
So she has the whole circle closed. These teachings bring you to know God, to know life, and to know self. But normally I would put it in another way. I would have said it makes you to know God, self, and life. So we could still say it like that. Yeah. Know God, knows God. That's the whole. She just caught it, the whole concept of my teachings and my activities. It's all about that. Make you to know God, know self, and then know life.
But the way they want to do in Nigeria, the way they...
Okay, how does that appear before? How did she live before? How does the normal religious person live, let's say from Africa or Nigeria?
Yeah, the average religious person just want to hear transactional stories about God.
Explain that.
Yeah, in the sense that, for instance, I hear that Pastor Sunday gives money. So I'm coming to the Pastor Sunday that gives money. So I'm not even coming to try to know who is Pastor Sunday.
I see.
What is he about? How did he get to achieve what he achieved?
So
how does he think?
Now let's place that on God.
Yes,
God does miracle.
God does miracle. God gives blessings. God heals the sick. God
prosperity.
Gives prosperity. Yes, it does all of these things.
So that's what more people want to know.
So people want to know more about what he does.
What he gives.
What he gives.
And what they can get
for themselves. But not about the guy.
So instead of, but what she is now saying that has been reversed. So now she's getting to know him rather than what
he does.
Or
gives.
So she's now talking about, I stopped knowing the hands
of
God. Now I'm getting to know
his face
and
his character.
I'm entering to his embrace.
Yeah.
I'm becoming one with him.
Yes.
So that is the part of your teachings have brought me to the knowledge of God or Christ.
Yes.
Now she's talking about knowing herself.
Yes.
So let's dismantle that one.
So when you move from the level of singing, he has done for me, he has done for me, and you get to the place of saying, I have a father, he calls me his own. When you know that he is my father, he is a loving father.
That is still number one. That is still knowing for the Father.
Yeah.
What about knowing yourself?
Let's go back. Let's still come from the level of knowing the Father.
Okay.
Because when you now know your Father, and you know that this is your Father, then you know that you have been made in His image. So now, when you meet God, when you actually meet God, do not meet what He is doing, then that's the first day you met yourself. Because you were caught from Him. So once that person now...
Because He mirrors you.
He mirrors you. So once that person can actually get an understanding of God, it's easy to know self from there. So the reason why a lot of people do not know themselves is because they've never met God.
No, but they are in church. They be testifying,
No, they met that transactional hand. They don't even know what it looks like.
They met the blessings.
They met the blessings. They are chasing after the miracles. They have no idea what it looks like. They have no idea how it behaves. Sir, do you think, and this also to the viewers, do you think that an average Nigerian Christian would know that God is love? Know that God who is love.
Or have personal knowledge of God.
And to be love. And yet not exhibit, display love.
No, you cannot know and not display now. There is no way you will know and not display.
One day I'll be able to tell more of my story, but it's not today. That you will know that you will be dying to yourself. And I see it in you. You are dying inside. Nobody sees that. You are in the sense of real, you are dying inside, but you are still dying so that others can live.
But that's what the apostle said now. We are poor but making others rich.
Yes.
We are dying but giving life to others. We are being humiliated but glorifying others. You know, Paul, that's what he said.
That's what he said. So, but that's because the guy, Paul, had come to understand
the essence.
The essence, the person of God. And so
he's now reflecting
he can reflect him and say, if I am his image on earth, if I am his representative on earth, if as he is in heaven, so am I on earth, then how dare not I not show love? How dare not I sacrifice for people? How dare me, how dare I not place my life on the platter? So you see that people cannot exhibit all of this simply because they do not know.
They are attached to his blessings
But not
rather than to him.
That's right.
So if this lady is saying, these teachings have brought me to know him, know self, and then
to the world,
know life.
So now when you know yourself, the big thing about knowing yourself is that consciousness works in two ways. There's an introspective part of consciousness and there's an extrospective part of it. So to say you are conscious is not just to know inside that you are alive. It's to be able to look at your environment and vibrate with your environment. So when you now say
since you have known him,
you know
you discover yourself.
Yes.
And discovering him is discovering you, which means they are becoming one with him. You are now transmitting his vibration to the earth.
Yeah, because discovering you is discovering your environment.
So now, because he is the source of everything,
yes,
and since he is the source of everything, you and everything start from him, and the earth is only a reflection. It's supposed to reflect heaven.
Yeah.
So he is the prototype.
Yes.
The heavens is the prototype. The kingdom is the prototype. Yes. Heaven is there, and it is what you see in heaven that you do on earth. Yes. Now, if you just stand on the earth by yourself and you are not one with him and you don't know him, you will only be responding to the realities of the lower earth, of the earth, of the lower level.
And you would never have really known yourself.
You would not know yourself, number one, and you would not really know what to do on earth. You would not know the earth also, because the earth itself cannot give definition to itself. Yes. It was created. So only when you get back to the Father, and then you reflect the Father, then you'll be giving direction to the earth. Yes. That's why we are the lords of the earth. Yes. That's why we are the kings and lords and the priests. So we are the one now to give direction to the earth, the environment, life. And now we say, okay, life is based on this principle because Father is love. Okay, life is supposed to be based on love. Yes. Okay, the Father is kind. Okay, kindness is supposed to reign on earth. Okay, the Father is forgiveness. Okay, forgiveness is supposed to reign on earth. So everything starts from the original.
That's why even in the Old Testament, God will say to someone like Moses, look, create.
Look, create.
We say to someone like Solomon or David, look, create.
Or Noah, come to the mountain.
Look, create. Give him how it should be.
Or Moses, the tabernacle. Yeah. Come and see, then create.
So everything, and that's why everything, even in the Old Testament, were said to be shadows of the real things, which even then were not revealed.
So if you don't know the Father, you will only be guessing on earth.
Guessing. And that makes you purposeless, aimless, and you just live your life in random motion. And what that does is that anyone who lives his life in random motion, not just that they do not achieve much, sir, they get tired quickly. And that's why a lot of people are tired in life. And they find out that I don't know if I'm speaking to someone tonight. Yeah. You find yourself in the hazy motions of life. You're doing this, you're doing that, and you are feeling tired, but you have no result. You are feeling tired. You are tired of life as I am speaking right now. You feel so tired of life. And you are looking at yourself with all of the energy you've expended. There is no result. I'm inviting you to the love of the Father. I'm inviting you to search the Father and find the Father and know the Father. And discover who He is, His person is. And you know what happens? You will discover that the moment you realize who He is, normalcy will begin to get into your life. You'll begin to experience the peace of God. Because the moment you begin to know God, that's the moment you are saying, I am making peace with my Father. And there's no way you will make peace with your Father that you will not have the peace of your Father. And if you have the peace of your Father, it therefore means that you will live with the peace of your Father.
And you will transmit
peace.
That peace of your Father.
Yeah.
To your environment.
Yes. So I'm speaking to that person tonight. Find God. Find your Father. Find your Creator. Know Him for who He is. Forget what He can do. And the danger of also looking for God for what He can do, sir, the biggest danger of that, sir, is that we limit God. We limit God. Well, how do we limit God? Because we are limited within the flesh. So it therefore means that if I should be looking for God within the means or what I understand that He can do, there's only so much that I understand. And I will always conceptualize God within the ramifications, within the parameters of those things that I understand that God can do. And so when He is operating outside the parameters of what I understand, it's very easy for me to conclude that this cannot be God. So for instance, I'm in trouble.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that, no, children of God cannot be in trouble. God always come out to rescue people.
Yep.
But as of that time, God doesn't want me rescued. Because He's trying to save me. Yes, and also trying to save me from a trouble that is greater outside waiting for me. But because I do not understand God as a person,
so I don't know His ways.
I don't know His ways. So I simply conclude that no, this cannot be God. And this is what I tell people again, sir, that a lot of times you even think the devil has you. But the devil, there was never a time the devil has you. Not for once. Because even the time you thought the devil had you was all to bring you to this moment where God will reflect His glory
on you.
Because if God created you from the beginning, it's impossible for the devil to have any time ever had you. Again, if we now go to God based on what we know Him for, that He does, we will always be disillusioned. So for instance, sir, sir, there's a difference between me knowing you, that you give gifts, and me knowing you as a giver. Those are two different concepts. So if I know that you give, Pastor Sunday gives, he gives people. And I come to you one day and I say, Pastor Sunday, I need this and that. On the basis of knowing that you give gifts. And you tell me no.
I don't want to know you anymore.
Yes, my concept becomes
crumbled.
Because I know that you give. I'm wondering why you're not giving me. I simply
so you are not who I
that
think.
You are not who I think you are. But if I know you as a giver,
it doesn't matter if I give.
It doesn't matter if you give or you don't give me. Because when you say no, I'll be thinking that there must be a reason why now you are not giving me. So in that case, it means I'll be trying to find out why. That's what it means for people who come to God to always look for His will.
And to believe that He is a rewarder, He's not a giver. It's not somebody who just gives gifts, but it's a rewarder.
Yes.
So He will, either it's now or later.
He is faithful to complete what He started. So the danger of all of those, sir, is that once we start going to God on the basis of transactions, we've just limited ourselves.
And these topics we are talking about, people will be wondering, what are the books they can read for it? You just got one, Life. The one on life.
Yeah.
No. Life.
Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Because it's about life.
Yes. This one is How to Live an Effective Life.
Yes.
How to Live an Effective Life.
Personality one also.
And there's this one also talking about I am a person. Am I a personality? Now, you may be wondering, what does this mean? I'm a person, am I a personality? Is the author trying to create some porn? No, this is not porn. This is not porn.
Okay, your Andy's here.
This is not porn. This is reality. Because a lot of people are persons in the term of existing. They live in the hypocortex, like we've explained. But personalities are those who live the epicritical. Personalities are those who live the hypercortical. Personalities are those who chase illumination. They are those who strive to be better. They are those who live conscientiously, who live in the here and now, who live by decision, who have decided that, yes, I am going to live.
Active consciousness.
Who have decided that I'm going to make I'm going to make an impact, I'm going to leave my mark on earth. Those are personalities. They are the ones who change countries and who turn the world over. They are the type that were described in the Bible that these ones have turned the city upside down. Those are personalities. Then, the basis of all of this, if you've not got this book, you should get it now. You should get it now. Who am I and why am I here? A lot of you, and we have also been there. We just live, we wake up, we eat, we brush our teeth, we take our bath, we eat, we go to whatever activity is left for the day. Never really asking the question, who am I? The reason why this question must be asked is to know that for every product, need always predates it. So there's always the need for a product, and the human is no exception. You could not have just been an accident. You were not here by accident. You were here for a reason. And that reason...
So there is a need for you.
Yes. Is what makes you, you. That is why you are you. So, but who are you? And so once you find who you are, then you must begin to find what purpose predates me. Why am I here on earth? So that's why you need to read this book. I strongly encourage you to get it. There are quite a lot of other books. Create Your Own Net Worth. Quite a lot of other books. In fact, a visionless life is a meaningless life. These are not just big statements. No, they are not empty statements. Read the books and you'll find out exactly why this is a dangerous book. This is a dangerous book. So, trust me. Create your own net worth. I'll create your net worth. So, these books, they are not just, the titles are not just words that we are just talking about. These are real life. And you were made for more. You were made for more than just waking up to brush your teeth and move through life. And this is what the author of this letter has just described in our introduction.
Beautiful. Beautiful. They said our time is over.
Yeah. We're having a good time.
We're able to finish one paragraph.
Yeah, one paragraph. So we'll be back next week on, I don't know if it will be Saturday. Yeah, next week Saturday. Yeah. We're back next week Saturday. So right. I think with this, the viewers should hear the last word from you as we round up. So from my end, I'll see you next week Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us today. We wanted to read your comments, but
you read yourself. Let them read for themselves.
Okay, maybe they'll read for themselves. But I mean, our time is fast spent, and we hope to see you next time.
Continue with the
9 o'clock session is coming.
Pastor
and the God of Mammon. That's a whole long, interesting series. So, Pastor Sunday, what do you have to say to the people?
I was busy listening to Dr. Victor today and to see how he exegesis and analyzes and dishes out knowledge and wisdom through this just through our discussion and fellowship. We started first and he wanted to go the quick way and the fast way, but once the observation was made to him and he caught it, I'm not needed. I'm no more needed. He just caught it and it began to flow. He may put on the thinking faculty, and this is the kind of disciples you want to have. And this is the glory of the Father. When the fathers see, their mentees and their, and their disciples, doing, better than themselves or doing things that they themselves would have done. So you don't need to duplicate your own efforts. You don't need to be, because you have people to continue your footstep. So kudos to Dr. Victor, and I think that all of you are watching today, we owe the thanks to him and to the person who wrote the letter. So today's program is to their own glory, and we must appreciate them. We must thank them for their effort. For the person who has written the letter to have written it, and for Dr. Dr. Victor to have been able to capture the spirit of the letter and to have been able to, dissect it to you like that. I think many people will need to listen to these messages. This particular message again and again. And if you have not joined the mentorship program that I started on my blog, it's for free. It's free because right now that we are exposing all that there is no Christianity in Nigeria, I think it's time for you to hook on to the mentorship program, get yourself detoxified, and get to know what Christianity is all about, what life is all about. And the way to join the mentorship program is to go to my blog, sundayadelajablog.com, sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship, sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. So www.sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship. We'll see you in the next 20 minutes, I guess, right? Yeah, in the next 20 minutes. And look forward to seeing you. And let's continue the series we are doing with Pastor Adeboye and the God of Mammon. And it's very painful for me to, have to deal with a topic like that, especially talking about an elder statesman in our country. But I have no option. The disgrace and the humiliation that the country and the body of Christ has suffered from their doctrines and practices, we need to put an end to it. And we need to return the glory to